This is an introduction to NoPressure version 0.1.25, early days. Let's have a look at the features that have been implemented so far. This is the story of NoPressure, the AI native, tiny little website system. Why don't we have a quick look at how NoPressure works right now? And I apologize, I got a bit of a cold and so my voice is going to be worse than usual. Now, NoPressure will not start in a directory that already has something in it. So if I try to start it in the home directory, it will be upset that there are other things. It will not overwrite any of your existing files. So it will need I can probably not type correctly either. It will need a clean directory. And once we are there, we can start, and then it will create for itself a configuration, including self-signed certificates and an admin user. So it will use the admin@example.com username, and it will create a random password. Now you have to change this. In fact, you will have to create a new user because it's not possible to change emails. Those are keys. Therefore, you will just create a new user for yourself. But for now, let's copy that because otherwise we can't log in. Now, when we try to access this instance, we will get a warning because we are using a self-signed certificate, and we will see that it's a self-signed root certificate and it was just issued. So we are fine. We know that this is what we just did. So we are going to just go to this website. Yes, we are fine. And then you get to the default page and it's red. It calls attention to the fact that it will need to be changed. Now let's log in and see the admin interface. So we jump in here, put in the example email address, we paste in the magic password, and here we are. So this is the admin UI. You have the content section where you can manage the content that has been uploaded or created, tags, roles, themes, users, where we have the existing user, system, where there will be more system settings. Right now is just logging. And then we can also visit the site. Now, one point I would now mention is that if there is a logged in user, you get this menu here, and even if you are not an admin, but just a regular user, you get the option to enter the profile. And so here you can change your display name or your password, and that's available for all users. But for now, we jump back to admin. I would highlight here that this is obviously the primary interface for now, and it's the most complete, but CLI is going to be a first-class administration user interface for NoPressure. Now, let's just stop it here. It started in an interactive mode. It's all set up. You can run it again. So now it runs in the background and you don't need to bother with it anymore. It will list its PID in the NOP.PID, so you can kill it if you want to. Now we can use the command line and we can issue commands. And for example, we can list users. I won't go into all the commands here, but why this is interesting is that this allows AI tools to interact with the NOP instance already. Any of the agentic command line tools that you have access to would be able to manage to a large extent your NOP instance, and that's part of our AI nativeness. But let's get back to the UI for now. And we need to create a new user. So I looked it up. There is no xspace.co website, it's up for sale. Therefore, that company should surely not exist. So let's just pick a completely random email address for demonstration purposes. Obviously, you should put in your own, and eventually NoPressure will be able to use email to communicate with you. So it could be important to use your real address. Now, for now, we will just use a completely random one with a nice name and a nice non-existent company. And then we put in admin, and we will put in a very strong password, 123456. Apparently, a lot of people use that, so it must be really good. For now, NoPressure will not check your password strength, and you should not use 123456 and not use 12345 either. But for now, we will be perfectly fine because it's just a demo. You really have to be careful. Check admin if you want an admin user, and then save. And let's just quickly test it. So we go back to admin. And then 123456, and we are in. Why don't we try to delete it? User delete admin@example.com. You can do these actions both from the command line and from the main interface, and it has disappeared. It really disappeared, the example admin user. Let me just very briefly jump into system, because this gives a bit of a glimpse into how the overall system will be structured to become AI native. I will go into more detail, but the important part here to understand is that this is actually live. So if I change this to say 10 megabytes and save it, this is now enforced by the system. So it would rotate the log files at 10 megabytes. This goes into the direction that you can interact with the system and it will react to it. It will implement your instructions right away. It's not like you write in the configuration file and then you restart it. No, the idea is that whatever you do, and I really mean whatever you do, like change a port, get a new certificate, everything, it should eventually be doable live on the system with all the safeguards like rollback and everything, so that it becomes truly capable of supporting an interactive workflow with the user, and eventually it will have interactivity through an AI chat-like interaction model. But let's jump back and briefly talk about content. The first one is themes. Themes so far are basic CSS. You can replace these placeholders with your own settings. There will be a repository with a few examples. Now let's jump into content. Pages are Markdown. Why Markdown? Because it's very simple. It's easy to edit, even with a text editor, and we have a text editor, so it's easy to edit. But more importantly, for me at least, that was the reason why I went for Markdown at all, is that when you go and copy the generated content from the AI web pages like ChatGPT or Claude AI, you actually get Markdown. So you can just paste it here. And I wanted to be able to preserve whatever I get generated by these AI systems so that I can save it here. That was the primary purpose. And we will have different formats later on. But for now, it's just simple Markdown. Now let's quickly create another page. Let's say we want to have a private news page. NoPressure stores pages and all content in a flat system. Everything gets a unique ID, but you can set aliases. So for example, you can say that I want to have the private news alias for this page. I can also add this to the navbar on top. And this means that this page will be directly accessible from anywhere on this NoPressure instance. So now let's say this is a private news. Hello. Command S or Control S will save it. And you have these little convenience buttons, so you can copy the ID URL or the alias URL. And you can also command click on it, and then you get that new page. Now, this is not a very nice page, so we can add, for example, a picture. You can simply drop an image file, and what it will do is it will align the alias to the page, and then we can save it. And if we save it now and jump to the page, then we have a much nicer picture. You can also drop videos which will be embedded as videos, which can be streamed by NoPressure, and you can drop other file types which will be uploaded as files, and then those will be links that the user can click and download. Private news. Maybe that means that we want it to be not accessible for everyone. That's where the simple role-based access control system comes into play. Let's make this a private page. So firstly, we want to have a role. A role can be attached to both users and tags. And if a user is logged in with that role that the tag has for that content, then they can view it. If not, they can't even see it. So let's add a new role, which will be called private news. We need a new user, so let's create one, and she's going to be Sally at xspace.co, the non-existent company. And she's going to be Sally here, a very good password, 123456, 123456. Don't copy that, really, that's unsecure. And then we click private news. That's the role that she's going to have. Okay, so that's saved. Now we can create a tag, and it looks a bit awkward, but once you have created the role and the tag, you can just use the role and the tag. So tag ID is going to be private news content, just to make it different. Private news. Now we will select the role private news, so only users who have this role can access the content tagged by this tag. And you can set the access rule, which governs how the system will calculate the allowed roles if more than one tag is attached for the same content. And we will skip that for now. So now we can go back to private news and tag it with private news content. And we might want to actually go back and also tag the image. I will stop here and thank you for having a first look at NoPressure. It has a few sparks of AI nativeness, and we will build those out. So please comment, which features do you think are most important to add first? Please also like and subscribe. Have a look at the videos describing the development journey so far with NoPressure, as well as the uncertainties that seem to surround AI and the tools that use AI. Thank you very much, and see you on the next video.
To support our mission, like and subscribe. Engage now for future updates.